Good morning, everybody, and a happy Friday morning to you. There's a lot, as usual, another super long video. We have royal family news, and then we have a mishmash of things that are coming out. It's just so much. So let's just jump in and get busy, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off this morning with King Charles. He's releasing a new Amazon Prime video documentary titled Finding Harmony, A King's Vision. This will be coming out in early 2026, and it will explore his lifelong environmental philosophy and vision for a sustainable future, and also the philosophy of working with nature rather than against it. The film is going to feature the King's decades-long commitment to the environment. We're going to be viewing archival footage and showcasing ways to transform people, places, and the planet. Let's keep going. The next thing that came out is that British pensioners can have a tour of 3 of King Charles's official residences for the bargain price of £1. It's the Royal Collection Trust is going to throw open the doors of Windsor Castle, the Palace of Holyrood House, and the Royal Mews for the Christmas period. So if you're on the Universal Credit, Working Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, Pension Credit, Employment and Support Allowance, Income Support, etc., that's for you. That sounds like fun. Let's keep going. All right, next up, I want to say a big thank you to my subscriber, Lynn. She lives in Hebburn, which is famous for shipbuilding in the UK, and the King's uncle, Lord Louis Mountbatten, captained the HMS Kelly, which was bombed and sunk by the Germans on May 23rd, 1941, and they have the remains of the crew interred in their cemetery. Well, a day or two ago, they had the Duke of Gloucester visit the Kelly War Memorial, and the Duke laid a wreath, and she took pictures and sent them to me. Thank you so much. Next up, we have the Duke of Edinburgh, who visited the Oval Cricket Ground to see the charity's inclusive cricket programs in action. He joined a game of table cricket, an accessible version of the game played in special education needs and disability schools across the UK. Edward was named patron of the Lord's Taverners earlier this year, following in the footsteps of his father, the late Duke of Edinburgh, who became the founding patron and the 12th man in 1950, which is a role he held for 71 years. Next up, we have Prince William, who held an investiture at Windsor Castle, and one of the people that he gave an MBE to was pregnant Georgia Harrison. She is the first Love Island star to be awarded an MBE for campaigning on violence against women, following her ex Stephen Bear's imprisonment. Also receiving an award is Stephen Lambert, television producer and executive. He was made an officer of the Order of the British Empire by Prince William for recognizing services to television. Now, after the investitures, Prince William continued on in his diplomatic stride, welcoming the President of Estonia to Windsor Castle. This was a reciprocal visit because remember, the Prince of Wales met Alar Karis in March when he traveled over in his role of Colonel-in-Chief. There was a lot discussed, but the key topics they're saying were security because both parties discussed the international security situation, and the President Karis thanked the UK for its role as a security partner in Europe and the Baltic region. Karis also shared Estonia's experience as a quote-unquote digital state and the role of e-services, and they also covered cooperation in culture and science. Very nice. Moving on. Next up at St. Paul's Cathedral, Princess Anne attended the special annual service for seafarers, which was first held in 1905. The service and congregation reflect the full range of the maritime activities of the nation and remind us of the importance. And also on the same day, as patron of the Whitley Fund for Nature, Princess Anne attended the People for Planet Summit at the Royal Institution in London. All right, let's go back to William. He made the cover of People magazine and the cover of Hello magazine. Hello, gorgeous. Whew. All right, now still they're talking about Eugene Levy and the Reluctant Traveler and William being on there because he mentioned Harry one time. And in the reference to media speculation during their childhood, William simply said, I hope we don't go back to some of the practices in the past Harry and I had to grow up with, and I'll do everything I can to make sure we don't regress to that situation. That was it. That's it. That's all he said. And people are like, oh, he's talking about Harry. No, he's not. Now, talking about Harry, we're going back to the whole stalker situation again. I still think Peace Aditoro is a stalker, but remember the woman that they said was found hiding in a toilet, and the whole story about as Harry was getting in the car, they had to body block her? Remember that? Well, a big thank you to the Royal Griff for finding this video. Here's Harry coming out of the Well Child Award. He stops to talk to these women, take a few pictures. There's not much in the way of a crowd, as you can see. There's like 10 people. There's like nobody there, okay? So Harry goes and shakes these people's hand and goes to get into the car after the small talk. Now, at this point, I've slowed the video down because there's the woman whose face they blacked out. She's not headed towards the car. They're not body blocking her. She's just standing there like everybody else. She doesn't even have her phone out. She admitted she's a squatty and she's at things that she's invited to. So I wonder how she feels because essentially Harry and Meghan threw her under the bus. Moving on. All right, guys, let's move on to Meghan. We know she was at the Balenciaga, show, and people are saying now that the only reason she went was she was charged a 7-figure price tag. They paid her 7 figures. This was not an invite, it was transactional. Balenciaga wanted global attention and Meghan delivered. They don't care if it's good or bad, they just want the attention. She had a private jet, what did I tell you? A 5-star suite, her glam squad. This was all part of the agreement. They're saying that her team treated it like a movie premiere. And had it not been for this, she wouldn't have gone because she wasn't invited. It's also being reported that Meghan is hoping to replace Kim Kardashian as their brand ambassador. But Kim's been the brand ambassador for so long, I just don't see that happening. Let's keep going. All right, guys, these next stories that came out, we know that the 30th anniversary of Diana's passing is coming up, and we know Harry was talking about doing a documentary, but we also know that William is probably going to do something, and whatever it is that William is doing, he's not allowing Meghan a hand in on it. Now, I don't know if Harry has reached out to William. I'm betting he will because he needs archival footage, and William has that. There's also the issue that Prince Harry's memory seems to be very skewed about a lot of things. How many problems did we find in the Spare? Well, now Harry's claims about Queen Camilla in the Spare have been branded complete nonsense. The Duke's recollections of life inside Highgrove bears little resemblance to reality, according to Grant Harold. And I completely agree. He said they got on very well, William with Camilla, and there just wasn't a problem. He said the four of them were like the four musketeers, essentially. Of course, he lies in his book. That's what sells it. Now, Harry returning to the UK on a regular basis, Meghan returning to Europe. Apparently, these trips have made royal insiders uneasy because it puts them back in frame, and that's something that they were not expecting. Now, at the same time, we're getting stories like this. Charles has carefully chosen to display pictures of the Sussexes throughout his Northern Irish residence, Hillsborough Castle, mainly in the state drawing room. I don't believe that for a second. I've said it before and I will say it again. The monarchy comes first, and a poll was recently done. 2,894 people responded, and 97% said that Harry and Meghan need to stay away from the royal family. Now, before we continue on with the British royals, we have some other royals to look at really quickly. Crown Prince Al Hussein and his wife, Princess Rajwa, arrived in France for a meeting with the French President Emmanuel Macron and First Lady Brigitte Macron. This is Princess Rajwa's first European trip. And when they got there, they had a meeting, and it covered ways of enhancing bilateral cooperation as well as reviewing existing partnerships. His Royal Highness praised the strength of Jordanian-French relations, which span nearly 8 decades, and commended France's role in fostering partnership between the private sectors of both countries. His Royal Highness affirmed Jordan's support for Syria and Lebanon's efforts to maintain their stability, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. Princess Rajwa and France's First Lady attended part of the meeting before the men split off, and then there was an official luncheon in honor of the Crown Prince. Now, part of their visit was exploring ways to expand cooperation with the Crown Prince's Foundation. HRH Crown Prince Hussein, accompanied by his wife, visited the Paris-based 42 The Network, which is a global education network specializing in computer science and programming. Also out and about, we had Crown Prince Haakon of Norway. He was in Minneapolis for the opening of a new exhibit at Norway House on Franklin Avenue, and a conversation about the future of collaboration between Norway and Minnesota. For those of you who don't know, Minnesota is one of the states where a large proportion of the population has Norwegian ancestry. All right, moving on. Remember I told you that mainstream media is watching the YouTubers? Well, how long ago, how many days ago did I tell you that Megan was holding the jar grabber thing upside down, and yet the mainstream media is just now reporting on it? There you go. They totally get their stuff from us. Now, these next few pictures I'm putting to music. I told you guys that Megan follows Diana in her mannerisms, and a lot of people wrote back and said she didn't. Here you go. Now, my next thanks goes out to this Twitter user as well as that one, the body language guy, all kinds of people for finding Megan's twin. Here you go. For those of you who don't recognize her, that's Imani Khalif. She is the boxer that refused to take the gender test, so she's no longer boxing. She insists she's a woman. Anyway, she wears custom-made Chanel outfits, and she was at the Chanel show, which is where I'm sure Megan would have rather have been. Let's move on now to the Beckhams. Victoria Beckham. There was a fabulous premiere for her new Netflix documentary titled Victoria Beckham. It was released on Thursday. It follows her life from pop star to fashion mogul. This series was praised by critics for being compelling, deeply personal, and engaging, with some highlighting Beckham's surprising candor about her past struggles with body image and eating disorders. The premiere was a star-studded affair. David Beckham was there, their children, former Spice Girl bandmates were there. The only one who wasn't there was Brooklyn and his wife. Romeo, Cruz, Harper, they were all present. I find it very interesting that Netflix is really putting a lot of effort and money behind this particular premiere, whereas they don't seem to be putting any money into the premiere of anything that Megan's doing. You know what I mean? David had his show, which was a massive hit. Now suddenly, Victoria's got her own hit, whereas Harry and Meghan's contract went right out the window. You know she is ruining the day that she pissed off Victoria and David Beckham and ruined the friendship that they had with Harry. All right, let's move on. You guys know that I work 24 hours behind, so what actually happens at the award ceremony we'll cover tomorrow. But in this video, don't forget Harry and Meghan are supposed to collect a mental health gala award for Humanitarians of the Year right after the government of Chad sent a letter accusing African parks, of which Harry is among its board members, of financial misconduct, disrespect, and not working with the authorities on abuse claims against some people. Now, I find it very interesting that people that are so worried about their security are putting out a complete itinerary. Maybe we'll have another fake New York car chase. Now, when you look at the list of everybody who'll be presenting, you realize that the only two people that don't have a job description are Harry and Meghan. Now, I wondered why they were chosen. Well, a blind item came out saying that this organization wants celebrities to present the awards and doesn't care about their past. Apparently, one of the people is a serial rapist who beat up women on a regular basis. There's also an actor who was canceled for the way he treated women. That this presenting gig is about the only job he's been able to line up in 5 years. Even Piers Morgan had something to say about the fact that Harry and Meghan are getting this humanitarian award after the Chad government made those accusations against Harry. I mean, everybody is pointing out what a farce this is. If you go on this group's Instagram page, it shows you everything you need to know about this gala, including how much it's going to cost you to attend this gala. Unbelievable. And tickets are still available the day before, which tells you everything you need to know right there. Project Healthy Minds says that their annual gala is the most inspiring night of the year for mental health, that it unites cultural icons, business innovators, and worldwide civic leaders to celebrate progress and possibility in mental health. You have Grammy-winning performances, debut art installations, and an unforgettable community coming together to raise vital support for the future of mental health. And they put up pictures of what they did last year. Quite frankly, just the fact that they're having Harry and Meghan there tells me that this is just another pay for play. Pay $5,000, come eat a dinner, and pick up an award on your way out. You guys get where I'm going? This is nothing more than just another pay to play event. All right, you guys, you know what I want. Put those comments down, make them good. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my second channel. You don't want to miss that. A link to my father's book, which is still up for sale on Amazon, and a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.